UFO incident refers to a 2004 radar visual encounter of an unidentified flying object by U.S. fighter pilots of the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group. Over the course of about 2 weeks, the USS Princeton, part of Carrier Strike Group 11, had been tracking mysterious aircraft intermittently on an advanced AN-SPY-1B passive radar system. The same event eventually occurred while 2 Navy F-18s were airborne running routine combat exercises in the area. The jets were ordered to go further investigate the UFOs that had been tracked for weeks. The weather conditions for that day showed excellent visibility with a blue sky, no cloud cover, and calm sea. When the jet fighters arrived on site, the crew of 4 saw nothing in the air nor on their radar. Looking down at the sea, however, they noticed a turbulent oval area of churning water with foam and frothy waves the size of a Boeing 737 airplane, with a smoother area of lighter color at the center, as if waves are breaking over something just under the surface. A few seconds later, they noticed an unusual object hovering with erratic movements 50 feet above the boiling water. Both pilots later described the object as a large, bright, white tic-tac, 30 to 46 feet, long, with no windshield, no porthole, no wings, and no visible engine or exhaust plume. The Nimitz Carrier UFO incident first came to the attention of the public via December 2017 New York Times article, which exposed the existence of a Pentagon program that investigates UFO incidents and released infrared footage of the 2004 encounter. In the weeks following the New York Times article, one of the pilots involved in the incident, Commander David Fravor, and the senior intelligence officer who ran the Pentagon's UFO program, Luis Elizondo, gave interviews on mainstream media discussing the incident.
Commander David Fravor spent 18 years as a naval aviator, a pilot. In 2004, he had an unforgettable encounter with an aircraft he said was defying the laws of physics. Tell us what you saw.
Well, we had launched on a routine training mission. When we joined up, we were told that the event was going to be canceled and that we had real-world tasking, and we were sent out to the west. Now, take in mind that this has taken place about 100 miles southwest of San Diego, between San Diego and Ensenada, Mexico, on a clear, perfect day, blue waters. We get out to the spot where they tell us it's at. We start looking around, and both airplanes see a disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object just hovering above the water, going forward, back, left, right. There's no rotor wash, there's no wings, nothing. So as we drive around in a clockwise flow, we get to about the 9 o'clock position, and I said, well, I'm going to go down and check it out, and the other jet is going to stay high. So as we go down, when we get to the 12 o'clock position, it starts to mirror us. So it's in a clockwise flow, and it's on the opposite side of the circle from us. And we continue this. It's in a climb, we're in a descent. We're getting a great look at it. This whole thing takes probably up to 5 minutes from the time we show up. I get over to the 8 o'clock position. It's at about the 2 o'clock position, and I decide I'm going to go and see what it is, and it's about 2,000 feet below me. And I cut across the circle, and as I get within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears.
From what you know about aerodynamics, mechanics, physics, should this be possible, what you saw?
Not with the technology that we have today. Not at all.
Bottom line, what do you think this was?
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
When presumably you expressed that belief to your superiors, what did they say?
Well, actually, we caught a lot of grief getting back to the boat, and it got passed off as an event that no one could explain. Now, keep in mind, they had been tracking these for 2 weeks prior to us seeing it, and this was the first time that manned airplanes had been airborne when the objects appeared.
Out front now, the former Pentagon military official who ran the covert government program up until this last November, Luis Elizondo. Luis, thank you so much for your time tonight. I mean, first, tell us what the purpose of the program was and why it was so secretive.
Sure. The purpose of the program, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was really designed to do just that. from a national security perspective, identify those things that we see, whether we see them electro-optically, we see them with radar, we see them as eyewitness reports, through a myriad of different ways and avenues that we receive the information, and try to ascertain and determine if that information is a potential threat to national security, in a nutshell.
So what did you find?
Well, we found a lot. I think it's probably been a little bit mischaracterized in some of the social media you see and what people put out, because a lot of times when we don't have a lot of information, we tend to fill in those gaps with what we think is logical. And there's still, by the way, a lot we really don't know. I think what's important is that we have identified some very, very interesting, anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological. Hypersonic velocities, low observability, positive lift, again, seemingly in defying the laws of aerodynamics. So people
so do
are
you
talking.
think, I mean, I know, but do you believe, when you get that Navy pilot saying what he said, do you think that was, a UFO? To obviously, I don't have any other word to use, or that, or something else?
Sure, that's a great question. Keeping in mind, it's not just the pilot's testimony on an observation. Sure, when someone comes to you who's in charge of a multi-million-dollar weapon platform, who maintains a top secret security clearance, who is paid and trusted by this country to go fight wars and to fly over cities with live munitions, and by the way, they're trained observers with millions of dollars invested in their training.
Yep.
I would submit to you it's pretty compelling, but on top of that, it's not just the eyewitness testimony. It is actual electro-optical data and radar returns. It's also people like radar operators and air traffic controllers. So I think the discussion should be maybe a little bit broader than that. I think people are focusing just on 2 videos coming from a set of F-18s when really it's a lot more than that.
So I know you think it's important. I know you think that the government didn't take the threat seriously enough. So let me just ask you point blank the question. Do you believe that life from somewhere else, while you ran this program, came here, visited, observed?
I will tell you unequivocally that through the observation, scientific methodologies that were applied to look at this phenomena, that these aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of.
So I know you're being clear, but I mean, the answer is yes.
I can't speak on behalf of the government. Obviously, I'm not in the U.S. government anymore. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone, whatever that means.
In May of 2018, investigative journalist George Knapp claimed to have received the official Navy report on the incident. This 13-page document goes into greater detail about the ships and aircraft that were present on that fateful day in 2004. It describes how the radar operators first encountered the objects, the dispatching of the F-18s. It gives the reports of Commander David Fravor and the other lieutenant from the flight whose name has been redacted, and finally details the means by which this incident was later reported to higher intelligence services. This information can be summarized in the following key assessments taken directly from the report. The anomalous aerial vehicle, AAV, was no known aircraft or air vehicle currently in the inventory of the United States or any foreign nation. The AAV exhibited advanced low observable characteristics and multiple radar bands, rendering the U.S. radar-based engagement capabilities ineffective. The AAV exhibited advanced aerodynamic performance with no visible control surfaces and no visible means to generate lift. The AAV exhibited advanced propulsion capability by demonstrating the ability to remain stationary with little to no variation in altitude, transitioning to horizontal and/or vertical velocities far greater than any known aerial vehicle with little to no visible signatures. The AAV possibly demonstrated the ability to cloak or become invisible to the human eye or human observation. The AAV possibly demonstrated a highly advanced capability to operate undersea, completely undetectable by our most advanced sensors. The 2004 Nimitz UFO incident signifies a turning point in the way UFO encounters are addressed by the United States government. The infrared video that was released was the first time in history that the US government cleared footage of military jets engaging UFOs for public consumption. Although the video does not give complete answers as to what is behind the phenomena, the significance of its declassification cannot be understated. Hopefully it is a sign of more information to come.